Charlotte now with a rundown of what else is happening. What have you got, Charlotte?
Well, one person's in a critical condition in hospital and 20 others are injured after a train has collided with a sewage tanker. It happened at an unmanned crossing at Little Cornard near Sudbury in Suffolk last night. Police say a man has been arrested on suspicion of railway safety offences. Mark Stone has this report.
Investigators have...
A lucky man. A deputy sheriff in North Carolina was held hostage in his patrol car for several hours by a swarm of bees. The policeman pulled over on a highway to help a truck driver who'd broken down, but this is what happened. Well, the truck was carrying 60 boxes of bees and some of them had broken. As the bees started to swarm around him, Brandon Jenkins then took refuge in his car until several hours later when beekeepers managed to brush them into a box laced with honey. I bet he wasn't expecting that when he thought, I'll just pull over and help this guy with a lorry.
See, that again, they brushed them into a box laced with honey. Why didn't they come up with a flamethrower or something? Or why didn't they?
Because there's a shortage of bees at the moment. You have to protect every bee possible.
They could have stung the man to death, but you would have, right. But interesting, very, very good. That's some great stories there. That aeroplane with a parachute.
I know, what a lucky man.
Everyone should have one.
I didn't know planes could even get parachutes, but there you go. It seems like a good invention.
Excellent stuff. Front pages of the papers. Here's The Guardian on your way after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
And anyway, an update on the train crash. And one person remains in a critical condition in hospital. 20 others are injured after a train collided with a sewage tanker. The incident happened just after 5.
Parachute. Do you wonder why he didn't?
Not. Well, I guess if the plane has got one, you don't need one, do you?
You think that's bad? Have a look at this. It's bees.
Well, I know.
Bees,
and these pictures are perhaps even more unbelievable. A deputy sheriff in North Carolina was held hostage by these, a swarm of bees. He pulled over to help a truck driver who'd broken down, and the truck happened to be carrying 60 boxes of bees, and some of them had broken, and obviously didn't like the fact he was trying to help, and they started to swarm around Brandon Jenkins, who had to take refuge in his car. It was several hours later that beekeepers managed to brush them into a box laced with honey.
And they would have started coming through the air grills, the vents and things through the engine. You could just imagine that.
I guess they'd have got everywhere, wouldn't they?
What a way to go. Dear, dear. Anyway, Charlotte, on looking here, we've got Mehdi Hassan, who's the senior editor at The New Statesman. Good to see you, Mehdi.
Good morning, Eamon.
And we're going to have a look at the stories that have caught your eye in the papers today. We begin with The Guardian, and it's 100 days of the coalition, so happy
birthday. It's a kind of birthday, yes, that's been borrowed from America, the idea of the first 100 days. And good news for the coalition from the front page of The Guardian, where they've got a poll from ICM, which shows that the public backs the coalition on the economy, which is surprising because they show that their poll shows 44% of those polls said the coalition was doing a good job in securing the economic recovery against 37% who was doing a bad job. Now, there's two responses I would have to this. Number one is silly public. They don't know what's going to hit them, or hit us. January is when the VAT increase comes in. The spending cuts haven't kicked in, so we all sit around going, it's fine. The budget didn't hurt me. Well, we haven't had most of the pain yet. The pain is going to come.
Well, you say pain, they will say, and that's what the public think, they'll say good housekeeping, Mehdi. That's what it's called.
Well, they won't say that when their kids are going to schools with leaky roofs and broken toilets because they've cancelled a school rebuilding programme. Pensioners who lost their free swimming won't be saying that. They almost took away free school milk from kids last week. That's good housekeeping. I don't know.
No one needs free milk nowadays anyway. Well, that's a lot of nonsense. That would save 50 million a year.
That's a separate issue.
I don't like milk, and it's because I got it free at school. That's what I don't like.
Is it
exactly.
Drill down your...
Now, Mr. Mehdi says you don't like the pain and that...
No, I'm saying they do like it because it hasn't happened yet. They're deluded.
You're deluded there as regards the cuts. Let them know what you think, newsthesky.com.
Although the Mirror, to be fair to the great British public, the Mirror has another poll, and if you ask a different question, get a different answer. The Mirror shows, it's a Comres poll, it shows 57% of the public think we're about to have another recession. So 47% say they like the economic handling of the government, 57% in another newspaper say we're heading for another recession.
Well, look,
we're all over the place.
We've got Deputy PM Nick Clegg in at 8:30 this morning. If you'd like to wish him happy birthday, happy 100 days, or tell him
he's in charge of the country, isn't he?
He is in charge now.
You have to pinch yourself. So Nick Clegg is acting Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
He's going to be here 8:30. Let him know what you think of this, his 100-day anniversary. We move now to the Daily Mail. And this is a story. This is a leader of UKIP, and he says what, Mehdi?
A party only slightly smaller than the Liberal Democrats, the United Kingdom Independence Party. Lord Pearson, that household name, he
Lord Pearson of Rannoch.
Lord Pearson of Rannoch.
Yes.
In fact, I debated him on Sky News just a few months ago, so I'm sad to see him go. He joined the party as leader in November, and he's going within a year.
Did you beat him in this debate?
I would argue I did, especially since he kind of got up and left your Millbank studio halfway through.
Yes, if he's that rubbish, that's why he's going then, obviously.
If he can't beat me in a debate. Well, here's the interesting thing. He, of course, is the leader who, during the election campaign, I don't know if you remember, he was interviewed about the party's manifesto, and he said to the interviewer, "You can't expect me to have read that." So when you do that in an election campaign, you don't really have a long life as a leader.
At least he's honest, though, maybe.
In true. A lot of other politicians probably would have pretended and said, dodged it.
Whereas Hitler wasn't honest.
Well, and there's a nice segue from the United Kingdom Independence Party to the Nazi Party. Bad news for neo-Nazi admirers of the Führer this morning. There's one thing that Adolf Hitler... If you're Adolf Hitler, you'd think your reputation couldn't get any lower as a genocidal maniac. But he had one thing going in his favour. In the First World War, he was supposed to have been quite good, quite heroic. He won lots of medals from the German army. Now it turns out, according to Professor Weber of Aberdeen University, who's written a new book on Hitler, that actually he was a T-boy during World War I, and he didn't run between trenches, passing messages, dodging bullets. He was about 5 kilometres from the front line, and he was called by his colleagues a rear area pig.
I wonder what that is.
Because he was so far from the front line.
It probably sounds better in German.
Should we get people to email in as what it is in German?
Rear area pig.
That was Hitler's nickname and all that. But what happened was when the Nazis came to power, they doctored all the history books, they rewrote all the memoirs to make Adolf look like this great hero.
Well, no wonder he hated the world then.
No wonder he hated the world. He was rubbish at everything he did.
We go to the Mail again, and this is about President Obama and the Afghan war casualties.
Indeed. In this week's issue of the New Statesman, I interviewed Imran Khan, the Pakistani politician, former cricketer, who described the war in Afghanistan as Obama's war. He said the great tragedy of Obama is that he took Bush's war and made it his own war. And actually now, the Mail reports, the statistics back that claim. There are as many US troops, 575, have lost their lives on Obama's watch in 20 months of Barack Obama's presidency, as lost their lives in Afghanistan under the whole of George W. Bush's watch of 7 years, from 2001 to 2008. That's a phenomenal
but
statistic.
why is that? I mean,
because
that must be strategic.
Well, two reasons. One is the war has got much worse. The Taliban have become much stronger over the past 2 years. And because Obama has ramped up the war. He sent 30,000 extra troops to fight and die in the killing fields of Afghanistan. It is his war now. He will take it with him for good or bad.
Yeah. We finish in the Sun with the picture. So Hitler may have been what was he?
A rear area pig.
Yeah, rear area pig. We're all showing someone else's rear area now.
This is perhaps Britain's stupidest burglar, who tried to squeeze himself through a downstairs window in East London, in Bow in East London, and he got stuck at 2 o'clock in the morning as he broke into this house, 8 by 14 inches, I believe. And what he did is he just stayed there. He didn't call out for help. I don't know what his plan was, but 6 hours later at 8 a.m, the householder came downstairs and found this rather ugly and stupid man sticking
he couldn't call for help, really. I mean, the game was up, wasn't
it? Well, if the game was up, it might as well have been up at 2 a.m. rather than 8 a.m. when a crowd gathered to mock him as he was cut from the window and handed over to the police.
In days of old, they would have debagged him or something, hit him with big sticks.
Exactly, they would have thrown strawberries.
But although we laugh at this, I mean, the whole idea of burglary, which I think is a heinous crime.
It is.
I've
been burgled. It's horrible.
Well, and if you actually came face to face, imagine that, Charlotte, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Would I call the police as a question if he's just
only after I assaulted him with a broom or something, you know, where we had him where you wanted him, and that was
bit of tickling,
and that was it. But there you go, a bum rap.
A bum rap.
Thank you very much indeed, Mehdi Hassan. He's back in an hour's time, and Charlotte standing by taking all your tweets today. Top stories are these: unless the taxi firm he's travelling in has gone bust as well. Let's get a rundown of what else is happening news-wise, then I'll have the front pages of the papers for you after this from Charlotte.
And more information for you on the train crash. And one person's in a critical condition in hospital, 20 others injured after a train collided with a sewage tanker. The incident happened at an unmanned crossing at Little Cornard near Sudbury in Suffolk. Joining us now from the scene is Darren Little. And Darren, is anything known yet about how this crash happened? Into a box laced with honey.
I know you're getting tweets and emails on that. Just can't deal with them at the moment because we want to go to Pakistan now. Let's go there. The papers, including what's going to happen with benefits and who's going to be affected. There's going to be a government announcement on that today. And a tribute to Michael Douglas, who's contracted cancer. And we're going to be talking about that after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
And it's all about the train crash that one person is still in a critical condition in hospital, 20 others who are injured after a train collided with a sewage tanker. It happened just after 5:30 last